What makes it all worth it? Why do you go out? Why do you try? What makes you scared? Why, of course, death. Now, if you can't die in combat, what's the point of combat? I mean, you might as well go out and blow bubbles. It's really pointless not to die. But the question in each MMORPG has always been, how do you undie? Which, in real life, doesn't happen, so it's really hard to figure that out. One thing is, if the penalties are too high, people are deterred from even fighting, and they're afraid of their own damn shadow. Why on the damn world would they, go out if they could lose or, die and then have to spend days, trying to undie? Now, if the penalties are too light, then people don't care. You end up with a bunch of kamikaze, death bombers that just run around attacking anything they see, regardless of what it is, and that creates quite a crazy anarchy. Now, thing is, few people want to, lose their character, or lose all their stuff, or lose anything that they've worked so hard to come up with. So we pretty much need a way of undying. Now, I don't really mind the dying and losing everything. I mean, it's really disheartening at first, but, here's an example. When I was a Lego boy, as a child, I built things with Legos. There's this one, weird-ass van thing I made that my mother was a klutz, and she broke it. And I was, crying in tears and everything. But when I got over that, I started rebuilding it. And when I had to make it all over again, I made it even better. And then she broke it again, and I was really upset. But then each time after I got over my upsetness, I would rebuild it. And each time it got better and better. And I grew to find that was a great way to help things. That you just tear them apart and destroy them, and you could rebuild them back up even better. But still, I had, design and knowledge that I kept with me, at least something that I kept with me as I was level. Now, if you are going to have resurrecting, I really don't care how you do it, per se, whether you make it easy or hard, although I don't think if you have resurrecting, if you decide to have that it should take more than 5-10 minutes, because when you're in a game, you want that adrenaline going. You want to keep going and going. You don't want any pitfalls that stop you and make you wait forever. I mean, that's just really boring. I mean, kind of like Counter-Strike, where you go and you die, and then you have to wait for everyone else to die, and you end up doing more time waiting to come back than you do fighting, and that's not a good thing. You should be spending more time fighting or adventuring than you should be waiting to do so. Now, with body retrieval, where when you die you have to, somehow you're resurrected again, and you have to go get your body. And this is cool because it deters raiders, people that go deep into enemy territory, because they have to go deep into it again, and they could, end up, people killing them right as they resurrect or whatever. But you could also allow fellow party members to actually carry your body and move it back to wherever you were, so it's not so hard to retrieve it, although that would take a long time. So I really don't like the idea of body retrieval. It seemed cool at first, but then it just, you're constantly, at first it just doesn't make sense that you're going back to your body as a form of resurrecting. That, didn't make a whole lot of sense. I always thought something else had to resurrect you. Just, if you're going to go logically story-wise, but even in your fantasy story, unless you really, really thought about it and really had this afterlife thing worked out to go back and resurrect, which no game has done, then I'm pretty much against getting your body for resurrection. But anyway, here is my great, amazing idea. I believe that you should die, and you should not get your character back. I also believe that your body should be looted. That anything you kill can be looted, not only by other players, not only by NPCs, but also by monsters that may or may not have killed you. Now, what happens after you die is you end up kind of like a reincarnation thing. You end up becoming a new character, bottom level, or a percentage of whatever level you were. And this character is like a relative of yours, or a cousin, or a daughter, or son, or whatever. Now, as this character, your first, well, not first, but a quest you have is to reobtain the relics of your former character that died. Now, the monsters would take it. It could be spread all over the place. If a person took it, they can end up selling it off somewhere. You don't necessarily have to get every single item you were wearing. Maybe just like the armor and the weapon, or the armor, the helmet, and the weapon, or whatever. Or, that's part of the quest. Each one's separate quests. And you go out and you kill the monster that contains, say, your sword that your former character, your now dead character, was carrying. You obtain the sword. You now have the sword. You're immediately able to use it. You get experience from completing the quest. Experience is based on a percentage of the former level, the level that your character was beforehand. So, if you get all the items that you need to get from your former character, you end up gaining back all the experience, or half the experience, a percentage of the experience that your former character had. So you died at like level 15 or something. You end up with a new character level 1, and it takes you to level 15 again before you're able to recover all your relics. But once you do that, you get the experience back. You get a jump in experience from that relic quest, and you end up boosting up to like level 25 or something like that. Now, it could be easier or harder depending on where you were when you died and who ended up with your relics. Now, if it's a player from another faction, you actually have to go and seek that person out and try and get them. And you don't necessarily know or who has it. You just know where you died, you know who killed you, so you can go from there. Now maybe you could ask NPCs if they've seen it, traded or sold or customized or whatever. But on the weapons, they would have former owners listed on them, based theoretically on engravings and such like that. So you could go out and kill that person and get that sword that they're using of yours, and get your experience back. But now, hey, they're dead, and now they have a quest to come get you, and they'll be coming as a different character. So it's kind of like an ongoing adventure with new people all the time, kind of like a soap opera, but with new characters instead of the same characters you're always fighting against. The rivalries become through generations. It can really add to the adventure in a game. Now, if no one loots anything in your body, the quest would be pretty easy. You just have to go back to your body and pick up the relics. Of course, you have to do so without dying. And maybe somebody else picks up your relics, and they can search you out, and on your character it said where you are and who you're related to, and they search you out and they get part of the experience that you gained from them giving it to you. So in short, if the resurrection is bad but fun, you're still good. But if you make it too easy, people will abuse it.